Hey guys, it's San and welcome back to the BulbaSquad. So, today I'm making a video basically talking about Rudy's last Pokemon video. Essentially saying Pokemon's sealed product is going to be free tendies for the next 2 to 5 years, maybe even longer. So, this is the first time I've actually really not exactly disagreed with Rudy, but I didn't agree completely with the core message. So, here's the thing. Rudy has a really good track record with a lot of things in collectibles, especially in the financial world. But when it comes to Pokemon, I've realized there's a disadvantage he has. Not saying he's stupid or anything, I 100% don't believe that. Rudy has a habit of transferring his knowledge and the fundamentals of magic over to Pokemon. I did the same thing when I learned his sliver system and how to do intrinsic value and transferred it over to Pokemon. I messed up and I had to reorganize it. Well, I think that's what's happening right now. Okay? The advice as a whole isn't bad, but the thing is, to Timmies, new people, just amateurs, I guess, people who just haven't been around the block a few times in collectibles, it is dangerous because when the crash does happen, because I do believe when it's coming, it's going to look very negative at the time, even though it is going to be a very small speck in the grand scheme of things. Yes, who cares if it's going to crash if a couple years later it's just going to appreciate beyond the previous peak, right? Like, who cares? But the thing is, I'm here to deliver the message for the people who are more susceptible to panicking. So, let's run through it. Essentially, I see 3 situations right now in Pokemon. These are the 3 main situations I have been able to narrow it down to, and quite frankly, it's not exactly all that optimistic, and the odds are just not in our favor, okay? Situation 1. Essentially, Pokemon is in a bubble, like definitively, okay? Scalpers, flippers, collectors, investors, Timmies, amateurs, just everything has created a bubble in modern. Remember, we're talking about modern. I think vintage, even pseudo-vintage, will be fine. Modern is what concerns me, because that's where the most amateur investors are parking the most money. So, the bubble has been made when Pokemon eventually 3X's or 4X's the print runs, and people start exiting the hobby. For example, they start spending money on other things. Amateurs who have been leveraging credits suddenly have to start paying credits, so things start selling. The PSA graded slab ocean of modern starts coming back. All these things start falling into place. Then there will be a crash in modern because the intrinsic value of the boxes will crash too much. And regardless of what any of you think, historically, the booster box price is correlated to the intrinsic value. It is not a 1-to-1 comparison. I would say we're probably looking like a 1 to 0.6. Okay? Usually it's a very loose comparison, especially in modern, but usually you can predict where it's going to be moving. So, if that happens, a lot of people are going to get burned. I don't like that idea. I don't want to really imagine that's what's happening right now. But it is a very real possibility. Now, scenario 2. In scenario 2, essentially, we have turned the page in Pokemon for the first time in a long time. For the first time, sealed product is the primary desired collectible. It is now in the front, and singles are now in the back. What that means is we can start moving in the direction of magic the way that Rudy already has in his mind. What I mean by that is Rudy believes that the older a product gets, the further the intrinsic value can deviate from the box price. In Magic, it's usually like a 15%, 30%, 40% if you're really lucky, of the total box price. In Pokemon, that is not how it works. You want a perfect example? Go look at ZNG.com, ZNG Emporium's website. He essentially has a breakdown of most of the WotC era sets, and you'll see essentially every set they have some form of correlation between their box price and the intrinsic value. Recently, he's doing some updates going from I think it was October all the way to now. So big change. And you're seeing a lot of these boxes are depreciating alongside their intrinsic values. Some boxes are retaining it, but you can still see it. Their intrinsic values are following suit. So if this situation happens, where the sealed booster boxes are now in the front seat, they can deviate further. It's not really going to matter if the prices of the singles tank, because the sealed booster boxes have such demand for the sealed form. Not in the investable form. Because remember, all of our investments are driven by the collectability. If people really want to collect sealed booster boxes, it's not going to matter if the singles are worth nothing. Okay? That's how it works. However, this situation is dangerous. What that means is, yes, the intrinsic value, I believe it's going to crash for a bunch of sets. Why? Because people are just grading everything. Everything's being graded. Rainbow Pikachus, Rainbow Charizards, every gold card, everything's being graded in modern sets. That is undeniable. Those intrinsic value, those slab prices, are going to depreciate whenever the combination of people leaving the hobby, people spending less money because now they have to spend on other things, and then the overall population increasing and they're still being printed. That is, you can't argue that. That is coming. But if this situation occurs, it won't matter and the box prices will keep going. However, the biggest danger in this situation is we can never go back. If we go back to where the singles are at the forefront and the boxes are on the back seat, it crashes. It will immediately crash back down because the correlation between the intrinsic value and the booster box price will be reestablished. And that is extremely dangerous. Because if you're buying at 180, 130, 200, 140 even, like, I'm an idiot. It's very dangerous. Now, the third situation. This is the most optimistic one. I really did try to find out what is the best scenario, but it's not that good, and it's not realistic. Here we go. The desire for sealed booster boxes and the desire for singles go neck and neck. People want both of them equally. And the demand for those booster boxes is good enough that even though they 4x the print run, it's going to keep up well enough that the booster boxes won't crash in price. It's going to keep up in such a way that, yes, they can begin to deviate away from each other and the box prices can detach from the singles. Because that's what the main thing is right now, okay? Despite the way it may sound right now, my main issue is that the intrinsic value is going to crash. Because that's coming, okay? I am certain of that. The only argument is, how are they going to be correlating? Are they going to follow how they always have been? Or are they going to forever change? Okay? Which I'm not saying it can't forever change. And then both of these demands will be running simultaneously, balancing out the market. Things will retrace a little bit, but healthy retracements. Guys, don't fear 10, 15, 20%. Because that's what happens in a healthy market. When there's growth, it has to come back down. Why? Usually the market overshoots it by a little bit. Again, perfectly fine. Don't panic. But look at everything that has to fall in place for the third scenario. The collectors need to still be around. The investors in sealed, or collectors in sealed, also have to still be around in high volumes. We can't have a crazy number of people exiting the hobby. We can't have a crazy amount of money disappear. Let's say, theoretically, just throwing it out, I can't calculate this out. People are spending $1 million a month on Pokemon, everyone together. And then it suddenly goes to 600,000? Do you really think prices are going to stay when the supply is the same, if not increasing, and the demand is decreasing? No, it's not. That's stupid. So you would need that, maybe like 1 million to 800,000. That way the retracements are marginal. But if it decreases too much, very dangerous. If suddenly people aren't getting the returns they want, people aren't getting like what? Like 3xing their money on Vivid Voltage immediately? they're going to dump it in the market. They're going to say, all right, I'm done. I can make better returns in sneakers. I can make better returns on CPU parts, whatever. And then that's going to bring more downwards pressure to the market. That's why I don't believe scenario 3 is that likely. Scenario 3 is just so idealistic, so optimistic. It's foolish to bet on that. The other two situations I just said, the odds aren't in your favor. They are not in your favor that the market will not crash short term. So I'm just telling you guys this information, giving this to you, so that you prepare yourselves for it. So that way you're not caught off guard by it, and you don't just pull a stupid Timmy move and panic sell and participate in the race to the bottom. Instead, you'll go, no, it's fine. These boxes will appreciate again. The market will recover. Or the other alternative, sell off some modern, go into vintage, because that's going to keep getting usually pretty steady returns and will be very resilient to a crash, like I said in my video. It's up to you. But at the end of the day, mentally prepare yourself for a crash. That is the most likely thing to occur. And there's going to be a lot of people out there that will not be ready for it. And those of us who are prepared, those of us who got thousands of dollars in the bank saved waiting for it, we're going to be the ones who reap the rewards. So, thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.